Hey everyone, it's Dr. G here. Today we are going to continue our series with Python for Research, and I'm going to show you how you can use some Python libraries to create your linear regression as we analyze a marketing database. So good luck and let's get started. The first thing that I need you to do is I need you to go into Canvas and find the activity called Add Campaign with sales activity, running linear regression to predict sales. So what we're going to do today with this particular file is we are going to do linear regression. And if you remember from your statistics class, linear regression is a way for us to predict something. And in our case, we are looking at an ad campaign set of data, which includes some traditional types of data, such as television ads, radio, social media, and then we're going to look at several types of influencers. So we want to create a predictive model to give us the best probability of having sales based on the right mix of advertisements. So you are going to go into Canvas and I want you to find that activity, open it up, and you need to go in and find that ad campaign data file. So the first thing what we're going to do, once you go in and click on this worksheet, we're going to prep the analysis. And by doing that, just like you've done in previous activities, you're going to find the ad campaign file. And then I want you to go into Google Colab. Remember, right there, you're going to go in there and you're going to start a new notebook. I have one started here. And we're going to do like we've done in previous videos. We are going to start to look at that file. So the first thing that you're going to do is we're going to import the libraries. So if you remember from the worksheets, what we do is we're going to take the code and copy it. And then you're going to go into your workbook. As you can see here, I already have it pasted. Paste it in that notebook. And then when you hit run, it's going to give you a check mark indicating that you've done it right. So the first thing we're doing, these are all of our Python libraries that will help us with descriptive statistics, some linear regression, and there you go, we got the check mark. We need to load those files in order for our code to run. Next thing you're going to do is we're going to read the data file. So just like we've done in previous activities, it's really important that you have the exact file path right here. We're going to put addcampaign.csv. You are going to copy all of that code, go back into Google Colab, open a new box, and paste it in there. Again, this right here, this file path has to be exactly where it is in your Google Drive, or it will not work. As you can see here, my screen is telling me, oh, connect to the drive. So I'm going to do that. Just follow continue, continue. And you have to do this the first time you use it in an instance that you're in Google Colab. So you'll see here, I'm connected, it's running it. And right here are the first few rows of your data file. So these should match the data files that you have if you were to have opened the CSV file in Excel. So these right here are our variables. You can see here we have television, radio, social media, influencer. No, the influencers, we have mega, macro, micro. So what I've done here is I've created a binary variable. Are they a macro influencer? No, they're a mega influencer. So they're going to have a 1 in the mega. So these columns there are your influencers, and then the sales. So the sales are the total number of sales, dollar amount for these particular ads. So in this case, you can see there was 16 advertisements for TV, 6.56 for radio, etc. Okay, so that's good. Next thing you're going to do is go back in. What I want you to do is paste that table right here. So I know y'all been doing it. Then you're going to go through and you're going to copy and paste individually each one of these. So you're going to copy your data columns. And this is really great because it's going to show you, again, these are your variables here. It's going to show you another look. You're going to go in, you're going to copy data info. And what I like about this is it's giving you a look at, again, the variable names. And then it will give you some counts here of how many there are. So we have about 4,600 records approximately. You're going to copy and paste the next one here. And what I'm going to want you to do after you do each of these, you're going to go through, you're going to copy and paste the chart right there. Then when you get to the next one, you're going to data info, paste that, the variable chart, the data shape. Now the data shape I will show you on here as you're copying and pasting. The data shape shows you there's 472 records and 9 columns. All right, so let's talk about what we're going to do next. So that's getting it all set up, making sure everything seems to be coded fine. Now we are going to create our predictive model. And in regression, if you recall from your stats class, there is a dependent variable, or sometimes called the outcome variable, and that is the thing you're trying to predict. So in our case, we want to predict sales. And that's right here under this code here. We want to make sure that the variable matches the variable name on your file. I don't have that there, but your file name or your column name, sales. And then we want to predict what is it that influences sales. So I want to, I hear all kinds of things as a professor of marketing that influencers the best things ever. You have to have an influencer in order to sell your stuff. So let's see what our predictive model is telling us. So we are going to try to predict sales using influencer macro, influencer mega, influencer micro, and influencer nano. Next, we're going to copy and paste the variables for our regression model. So copy that, go into your collab, and I want you to paste it here. And then run it. You've got the check. The next thing you're going to do, go back into here. Now this is the regression code. Copy, paste that, hit run. And here is your model, just like you would see if you were using a statistics model. That you might have an SPSS or sometimes Excel. So remember, what I want you to look at here as you analyze this particular table, these are your independent variables, or what we would call your predictor variables. So each one of these, if you recall from the data file, are they an influencer or not? Macro, mega, micro, or nano. So we want to know what are the predictions that influencers have on sales as it relates to our campaign. So you'll see the OLS, the linear regression model here. And if you recall from your statistics class, R squared, this is our predicted number. R squared is generally one variable predicting another. Adjusted R square is if you have more than one variable. So here you can see this number right here is the amount of prediction you have that those influencers have on campaign sales, which is a big fat zero. The closer you get to 1, the stronger that prediction is. So you can ask yourself the question, how well did these influencers do on predicting sales for our model? So that's the first thing that we look at. The next thing we might want to look at here are the coefficients. So the coefficients here are, relatively strong. And if you look at your p-value, this is whether or not it is statistically significant. And although these are all statistically significant, all of these influencers together don't predict whether or not there's a sale. So I want you to think about that. Copy this, paste it into this. I want you to tell me what the R square is from your output and describe your interpretation of how well those influencers did on this campaign to predict sales. Okay. So now let's try a different predictive model. So we know that the influencers didn't shake out very well, did they? So much for that theory. So we're going to do another regression model. So I want you to copy and paste this, yet this time we're still going to try to predict sales, which is our dependent or outcome variable. Now the input or the independent variables or the predictor variables, this time let's do television, which is TV, radio, and social media. So these are all our regular old paid advertisements without the influencers. So you're going to copy that and then go in here, add a column of code, paste it in, run it. Sorry, that was the wrong one. Run it, run it. And you are going to you're going to add those in, make sure they load in, copy and paste, and then the second one you're going to copy and paste again into a new one. And now look at this. So this again, we're predicting more of the traditional with the social media without the influencers on sales for this ad campaign. Now look at this, our R squared went up to 0.978. Now remember, a perfect prediction is 1. So yeah, we're pretty close there. So what is this telling you? I want you to look at this. So let's look at TV is 3.36. So for every incremental television ad, the sales increases by 3.36. Radio 0.46. So for every ad, the radio goes up by 0.46. Now look at social media. Social media is 0.15, which isn't great. But what I want to show you here is that when we look at the significance or our p-value, television is significant statistically, radio is, but because this is above 0.05, social media isn't significant. So you can see that this model is pretty good, but your social media isn't significant enough for us to make a prediction. So I want you to go through and again paste the OLS for this new model in your worksheet. Tell me about the R squared. Describe your interpretation of how well this model predicted sales. And then tell me a little bit about social media and what that did to predict the sales. Now, finally, I want you to go back and look at both of those regression models we created. Now, remember, regression is our prediction of how, if we were to do this over again with a new campaign, how likely they would to predict sales. So, based on the results from the influencer campaign versus the traditional with some social media, which would you suggest and why? And I know that this is complicated. You probably haven't had a lot of regression since your statistics classes. And so I want to give you my AI tip of the day. So we're using some Python code here. And what I would like you to do, if you have some trouble interpreting the regression models, And right here is the regression models, the ones you're pasting in there. You can copy and paste the regression model and put it into Chat GPT. This is your tip for the day. Paste it into Chat GPT and use the following prompt. Interpret the following output. And that will give you an idea of some explanations for each of those OLS. So that's my AI tip of the day. And happy analyzing. I hope that you've enjoyed this regression. I know it's a lot of copying and pasting, but I tell you, it's a heck of a lot easier than cleaning a data file because some of our Python codes did that for us. But remember, regression is really important because as marketers, our job is to predict sales, and we want to see to test and learn different campaigns, and this is a great way of doing that. I hope this short how-to video helps you understand how you can do a quick, simple linear regression using Python for your marketing research. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me via Canvas or drop me a note here on YouTube. Take care, everyone, and happy predicting your sales.